What is up, everybody? Chlorine King here. Thanks for tuning in for another video. This video's topic is going to be basically to pass the message along to stick up for yourself. Don't let clients berate you or call you names or just disrespect you in any way, because I'll tell you right now, it's not worth it. And if you let them start talking to you like that, they're always going to talk to you like that. And at the end of the day, you don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We are running a legitimate business in a legitimate industry. And I'm not going to have a client talk to me like that. I don't care on what circumstance. Now, if we did something wrong, sure, I'll listen to an earful and then I'll apologize and move on. But a lot of times we get blamed for stuff or accused of stuff for stuff with no evidence or no solid ground on their end. And they start insulting you and all this kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is talk about two recent instances I had and how I handled the situations and how I just don't put up with it. And I recommend you guys don't too. And, you know, we all get berated on the phone from clients. They'll yell at us, curse at us, all that kind of stuff. And they start cursing and yelling at us. I'd quickly say, sir, ma'am, if you want to keep talking to me like that, and disrespect me like that, I'm going to terminate this phone call. So it's up to you if you want to keep this conversation going. And sure enough, 9 times out of 10, you know, they calm down and then we have a cordial conversation. We get a resolution out of it versus them just yelling and disrespecting us. Because guess what, guys? The money we get paid for pool service is not worth that. There's no amount of money to be shown disrespect, and certainly don't let your clients do it to you. So the first instance, was a relatively new account. We've been servicing her pool for 2 months. Originally, she called us out wanting to replace all of her equipment at all 3 of her properties. And so we went out there. My field manager went out there and actually went to each house with her to show her the issues at each house. And she said, yes, that sounds good. Go ahead, send a quote over. So we sent a quote over for all 3 properties, 3 individual quotes. She never seemed to understand the quotes, even though it says what we're doing, what product, and what the cost is, just like a typical estimate, but she never seemed to get it. So that took a lot of extra time, and between emails and phone calls explaining everything over and over and over again. And it got to the point where I was asked to go out to explain it one last time. And so I did. I went out there, started going over the equipment with her, and one of the first things she says is, I don't even know why we're out here because this is all new equipment. And I looked at the equipment, I said, ma'am, I'm not trying to argue here, but walking up to this for the first time and seeing this looks like this was storm damage. I mean, because she was right on the Gulf of Mexico, like not on the intercoastal side, but literally the Gulf of Mexico is her backyard. And she said, no, this is all new. And so I opened up the drive in front of her. I said, ma'am, this looks like it's been submerged. I said, look at all the sand in the drive. I said, that only happens when the pump's flooded. Oh, well, I had my yard just resodded. I said, ma'am, that would be dirt, not beach sand. And so she kept adamantly stating that it's new equipment, it was just replaced. And I said, well, if it's new equipment and it was just replaced, why'd you want us out here to replace all this equipment? She goes, well, I just want it replaced because I'm selling the house. And, you know, I showed her all the different places and reasons why I don't feel like it was new equipment. And I wasn't combative. I wasn't argumentative. I was just showing her facts. Like, all the equipment was sun faded. The flow switch for the salt system was discolored, and it was an aqua pure. So, you know, it's got that gray cable. That was discolored in 7 different ways and actually had a tear in the insulation. And I said, ma'am, if this stuff was just installed a couple months ago, they wouldn't have this issue already. Certainly not the sun fading. Excuse me. But she kept going about it. And then she started on, man, everyone in Florida is just trying to screw me. And I said, what? Excuse me? And she goes, yeah, everyone's just trying to take advantage of me because they know I have money. I said, ma'am, let me stop you right there. I said, I have morals. I've been in the I've been in the business for almost 10 years. I have high moral standards, business and personally. I said, I'm not out here trying to take advantage of you. And then she went on to give a specific instance where some contractor came in, changed her locks, and stole $8,000 from her. I don't know in what way, if it was money or possessions or whatnot. I said, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but I don't understand what that has to do with us here, out here quoting to replace the equipment that you asked us to. And she kept going on and on. I said, ma'am, you need to figure out if you can trust us right now, because if you don't trust us, I don't want to be on your property. I don't want my techs on your property, because guess what? You're not going to believe anything we say or do, and I'm not putting our company in that position. And then she started lightening up a little bit, and then we started talking about the equipment more. She had me look up specs on equipment right there because she thought we were overly expensive for what we're providing and all this kind of stuff. And then she brought the trust thing up again. I said, ma'am, this is the last time I'm going to say this. You need to figure out if you're going to trust us, because if not, we need to separate and move on. There's plenty of other companies that can work with you, but I'm not going to work for someone that doesn't trust us. That I don't care how many accounts you have, how much money I'm missing out on. It's not worth it to me. I care about having a positive, trusting relationship with all my clients. And after I said that, she literally goes, okay, I just can't handle this. I'm leaving. And literally walked off the property, left me and my repair technician out there, just left. Literally, no thank you, no thanks for your time, no this. And we looked at each other. We're like, we weren't rude to her. We didn't curse at her. We didn't raise our voice at her. We literally are talking like we are now. And she just couldn't handle it. And so, oh, I forgot one other important thing. When I was talking about how I don't believe it's new equipment, she goes, oh, I guess I need to get an attorney involved. Well, that was another red flag. So as soon as she said that, I was already planning on firing her, but then she made it very easy, keep bringing up the trust thing. So went home, wrote her an email, told her we're terminating service effective immediately. We'll send you refunds for everything that is owed as far as the weekly service, because we hadn't done any repairs yet. We've been spending months explaining stuff to her, so that never happened. And so that was that. So I lost 3 accounts because I was talked very in a very demeaning way and insulting, and I just wasn't going to put up with it. I don't care. They were really nice pools, really good rates, but it's not worth it. I care. I have a higher standard than that. I'm not going to sit there and put up with shit from people just to make a buck. Like, life's too short for that. So that was that instance. So down 3 accounts because I stood up for myself and wasn't letting them berate me. The next instance is fairly recent. I got a text message from a client that we ruined her pool deck. And I said, well, what do you mean? She sends pictures. And I mean, it did look bad. I mean, it looked like someone took a 2.5 gallon jug of chlorine and just went dancing around the deck on it. I mean, it looked terrible. And so I look at the report. Our technician didn't use chlorine. Okay, that's interesting. Then I called the technician. I said, hey, Miss So-and-so said that we destroyed her pool deck from chlorine being dumped on it. And so she goes, I didn't use chlorine. I said, I know, I looked at it in the report, but can you help me explain what's going on here? And I showed her all the pictures, and she goes, it's impossible that was me. And I said, why is that? And she goes, well, I don't take my cart over on that side of her pool deck. You know, there's probably about a 50-yard walk between one pool screen door to the other. And she comes in one side and stays on that side with the cart. She doesn't take it on the other side. And it literally was tracked all the way across to both screen doors. So it wasn't her. And then she went on to say, while I was there, there's another worker or contractor or whatnot doing work there. He had his own cart with wheels and hoses. He's doing landscaping and dirtying the deck. So I called the client. I explain all that. She denies it adamantly that it was us and that we destroyed her deck. So there's no due diligence on her part, because had she just gone out there and rubbed her hand on the stains, she would have seen it was powder that is easily rinsed off, but she didn't. She just blamed us. And then I explained that to her, and she goes, there's no way. I said, she goes, I need my deck repainted. And I said, look at your camera. And so she looked at it, and called me back and goes, you know what? It was the other person working. I said, I tried explaining that to you. And she never once said sorry for all the things she said or anything like that. And she goes, I guess it was the other guy. And I said, well, I guess you need to find another pool company, because I'm not putting up with that. I'm not going to put up with someone accusing us of doing something that we didn't do with no evidence and expect us to just be okay with that, because if anything happens to her property, we're going to get blamed for it. And I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather have had her call, hey, Eric, I think you guys might have dropped some chlorine on my deck. I'm not really sure. Can you come out and take a look? And we would have gone out and looked like we did, but under a different tone of trying to figure out the answer and solution to this versus being accused and trying to defend ourselves. So it's all about how people talk to you and how you respond to it. But if people are talking to you in a demeaning way, cursing at you, accusing you of stuff with no real evidence or anything like that, those are the kind of people I don't want to work with. Life is way too short for that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to just put up with it from anybody. I don't care how much money I'm set to lose from not doing the work or the repairs or the service accounts. There's plenty more pleasant, nice people out there to work with than those kind of people. So to recap, don't take shit from anybody. Don't start taking it from the very beginning. Stand your ground immediately. And you don't have to be mean about it, but just be stern. State your point. And if it's not meant to work out, it's not going to work out. But at the end of the day, you're not getting rolled over and accused of all this stuff, or going to someone's property feeling like they think you're a fraud. No one wants to work under those conditions, so don't let it happen. So hopefully this video helped a little bit. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but the summer is very short. Don't take shit from anybody, especially if you are right. So hopefully this video helped. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Check out my description. Check out the different links for Patreon, the pool deck by Skimmer. And if you're not trying the Skimmer software, there's a discount code in there for you. So hopefully this video helps, and stay tuned for more, because I got a lot more coming your way. Take care, guys, and have a great day.